Hi guys, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this very cute amigurumi by Pride heart. This will be the second heart in the Pride series that I am doing. There are more flags on the way, but for right now we are going to be working on the by Pride heart. It is very simple and easy. You just need to know how to do a single crochet increase and a decrease. I do explain how to do increases and decreases in the tutorial. I just show you my preferred method, but if you have another method that you like, obviously you can use that method as well. In the materials, I did unfortunately leave out that you do need a darning needle, so please make sure that you have that handy. Anyways, let's hop right into it. The materials that you will need are pink yarn, purple yarn, and blue yarn. This blue yarn is considered a 4-weight, but it looks pretty thin compared to the other two, so I may double strand this in the tutorial. You also need a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, scissors, a stitch marker, and stuffing. I'm going to be using yarn scraps for my stuffing. You can use anything you want, polyfill or yarn scraps or anything else. For the first 10 rounds, we are going to be using the pink yarn. For round 1, we are going to make a magic ring. Wrap it around my finger twice, like so. Put my hook underneath the first loop, grab the second loop, pull it through, take this off of my finger, and chain 1. That's how I like to do my magic rings. You can also do a chain 3 and do all of the stitches inside the first chain. That's entirely up to you. We're going to do 6 single crochets inside the magic ring. There are my 6 single crochets. I'm going to tighten the ring. We are working in continuous rounds, so make sure you have your stitch marker handy. For round 2, we're going to do an increase all the way around. So at the end of this round, we should have 12 single crochets. An increase is just doing 2 single crochets in the same stitch. First stitch is always kind of difficult to get through. There's 1 single crochet. There's the second one. So that's 1 increase. Two. 3. 4. 5. And 6. So at the end of this round, you should have 12 stitches. For round 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet. Here is where I like to take out the stitch marker and put it in that very first single crochet. Whoops, there you go, like so. 1 single crochet, And then in the next stitch, we are going to do an increase. And then we're going to repeat that. 1 single crochet, and then an increase. One single crochet, and then an increase. Alright, I made it to my stitch marker. At the end of this round, you should have 18 stitches. For round 4, we are going to do 1 single crochet, two single crochets, and then an increase. So that is going to be the repeat for this round. 2 single crochets and 1 increase. There's 1, 2, and increase. 1, 2, increase. 1, 2, increase. Alright, I reached my stitch marker. At the end of this round, you should have 24 stitches. Round 5, we are going to do 1 single crochet, two single crochet, 3, and then an increase. And that is the repeat for this round. 3 single crochets and 1 increase. So 1, 2, 3, increase. 1, 2, 3, increase. 1, 2, 3, increase. Alright, I am at the stitch marker. So at the end of this round, you should have 30 stitches. For round 6, we are just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So also at the end of this round, you should still have 30 stitches. Alright, I am at the end of the round and I still have 30 single crochets. For round 7, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, and an increase. So that's going to be the repeat for this round, 4 single crochets and an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. Alright, I have completed the round and I have 36 single crochets. For round 8 and 9, we are just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So at the end of each round, you should still have 36 single crochets. Alright, so I completed the 2 rounds that are just regular single crochets. Here is where I am going to fasten off. I'm going to leave a decent tail for sewing because I like to sew the middle part together. And this is just one of the bumps for the heart. You are going to make a second one, but after you are done with the 9th round, you are not going to fasten off. Once we get to the 10th round is when we are going to attach both of the bumps together. So let me go make the second bump. Alright, so the 2 bumps are now completed. So the bump that still has the yarn attached to it, what we are going to do for the start of round 10, okay, we are going to do 15 single crochets. Make sure you keep moving your stitch marker with you so you can keep track of where you are. Okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Alright, now we are going to bring in the second bump. You can see where you fastened off. We're going to go into the stitch next to that one, okay? And we're going to just do a single crochet. This is just connecting the 2 bumps together. Now we're going to do 29 more single crochets. So in total on the second bump side, you should have 30 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Alright, so now since we completed the 30 single crochets, we're going to look onto the first bump, okay, right where we did the attaching to the second one. We are going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochets, okay. In the 7th one, we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, so we're going to do 14 more single crochets on this bump. So in total, you should have 15 single crochets. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So at the end of round 10, you should have 60, that is 60 single crochets. Before we continue, we are going to sew the middle part together. I forgot to grab a darning needle. One moment. Alright, here we go. Now I have my darning needle. Now we're going to sew the middle together. Decide to do it now since it would be easier instead of when the heart is halfway filled. So what I like to do, okay, is spread it a little bit, spread the two sections a little bit, and you can see that there's a hole right here and a hole right here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through those two first. Just so when you finish sewing the 6 stitches together, that's why we skipped the 6. Once you sew them together, the ends, like right here where they were connected, won't have big holes. So now I'm just going to sew these 6 stitches together. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to do the same thing up here like I did down there. Spread it open a little bit, and you can see that there's a hole right here and there's a hole right here, and we're just going to go through those two. Like so. Now when you look on this side, you can see that it's fully sewn all the way down. There's no holes in the front or the back. Now I'm just going to go through those two again just to secure it. I'm going to make a little knot, and then on top of that knot I'm going to make another knot. Like so, just like that. I'm not going to snip the end because the heart's going to get stuffed, so you're not going to see the end, right? Before we continue, we are going to be changing colors, alright? So, we're going to put my hook through these two loops here. Pull the pink out. Going to snip the pink like so. Now we don't need the pink anymore, and now we are switching to the purple. You can do the color change however you like. Just this way is a little bit simpler for me. It's easier to do. Well, like I said, you can do it however you like. And I'm going to tie a knot right here. And I'm just going to keep the yarn ends inside of the heart because it's going to be stuffed. Nobody's going to see the yarn ends. For rounds 11 and 12, we are just doing one single crochet in each stitch. So at the end, you should still have 60, that is 60 stitches. Here is where I am going to speed things up since it's just one single crochet in each stitch. Alright, I am at the stitch marker, so I completed the 2 rows of just single crochets. I do have 60, that is 60 single crochets at the end of each round. For round 13, we are going to do 13 single crochets. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now we are going to do 2 decreases. Move up a little bit so I can show you guys how I do my decreases. I go through the stitch, I pull up a loop, I keep that loop on my hook, okay? I go into the next stitch and I pull up a loop. I also keep that one on my hook. I yarn over and pull through all 3. That's how I like to do decreases. You can do decreases any way that you prefer. Just this is the way that I like to do it. I go in the first stitch, pull up a loop, keep that on my hook, go into the next stitch, pull up another loop, keep that one on my hook, yarn over, and go through all 3. So there are your 2 decreases. Now we're going to do 26 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Now we're going to do 2 decreases again. There's 1, and there's 2. We're going to end the round with 13 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So at the end of this round, you should have 56 stitches. That is 56 stitches. For round 14, we are going to start with a decrease. $24 single crochets after that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Now we are going to do 2 decreases. After the decreases, we are going to do 24 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. We are going to end the round with a decrease. So at the end of this round, you should have 52 stitches. For round 15, we are going to start off with 11 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now we are going to do 2 decreases. After the 2 decreases, we are going to do 22, that is 2 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Now we're going to do 2 decreases. To finish off this round, we are going to do 11 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Whoop. At the end of this round, you should have 48 stitches. For round 16, we are starting with a decrease. So there's 1 decrease. Now we're going to do 20, that is 20 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. We're going to do 2 decreases. Now we're going to do 20 single crochets. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. We're going to end this round with a decrease. You should have 44 stitches. For round 17, we are just putting one single crochet in each stitch. So at the end of this round, you should still have 44 stitches. Alright, I finished my round. I'm back to the stitch marker. And I still have 44 stitches. For round 18, we are going to do 9 single crochets. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We're going to do 2 decreases. 1, 2. Now we are going to do 18 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Now we are going to do 2 decreases. We are going to end the round with 9 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. In total, you should have 40, that is 40 stitches. For round 19, which is also the final round of the purple color, we are starting off with a decrease. Now we are going to do 16 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, 16. Yep, 16. Now we're going to do 2 decreases. Now we're going to do 16 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. We're going to end the round with a decrease. At the end of this round, you should have 36 stitches. Now I am also going to switch the color to blue, since that was our last round on the purple. Okay. I did say earlier that I was thinking about double stranding the blue, and I am going to double strand the blue. So give me a moment. I have to get some of the blue off of the other side real quick so I can attach both ends. Okay. Alright. Here we go. Right. We snip off the purple. That to the side for now. Purple through. Keep the 2 yarn ends for the blue. Okay. I'm just gonna make a knot here. And we're just gonna keep the yarn ends on the inside, since you know it's gonna get stuffed. Just adds to the stuffing. Beautiful, beautiful. That in there. There we go. Just get a little bit more yarn out. There we go. Alrighty. For round 20, we are just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So at the end of this round, you should still have 36 stitches. Alright, for round 21, we are going to do 7 single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to do 2 decreases. So there's 1 and 2. Now we're going to do 14 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Now we're going to do 2 decreases. 1 and 2. We're going to end the round with 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to pull up a loop. We're not color switching or anything like that. Here is just where I like to stuff the heart halfway. It makes it so much easier than waiting till the end to stuff the heart. So I'm just going to stuff it halfway here. Alright, so my heart is now halfway stuffed. I'm going to put the loop back on my hook. Ooh, okay, there we go. I like to have the double strands kind of facing the right way, you know? Alright, so for round 22, we are starting with a decrease. Here we go. 1 decrease. We're going to do 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now we're going to do 2 decreases. There's 1 and 2. Now we're going to do 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now we're going to finish the round with a decrease. At the end of this round, you should have 28 stitches. For round 23, we are just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So at the end of this round, you should still have 28 stitches. Alright, so for round 24, we're going to start with 5 single crochets. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whoop. I said 5 single crochets. Well, bam. Alright, there's my 5. And now we're going to do 2 decreases. 1 and 2. Now we are going to do 10 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we're going to do 2 decreases. So 1 and 2. Now we're going to end the round with 5 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So at the end of this round, you should have 24 stitches. For round 25, we are starting with a decrease. Now we're going to do 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to do 2 decreases. So 1 and 2. Now we're going to do 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to end the round with a decrease. In total, you should have 20, that is 20 stitches. For round 26, we are just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So at the end of this round, you should still have 20 stitches. Alright, I have reached my stitch marker and I still have 20 stitches. For round 27, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do 2 decreases, 1 and 2. Now we're going to do 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to do 2 decreases, 1, 2. We're going to end the round with 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So at the end of this round, you should have 16, that is 16, stitches. Here is where I like to finish stuffing the heart. Alright, so for the final round, we're just going to fully remove our stitch marker. We don't need it anymore. We're just going to do 8 decreases. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Here is where we are going to fasten off and leave a decent sized tail, not too long, but also not too short. Okay, I run about here. Alright, and the last step is to just sew the bottom shut. You could do this any way you would like. Sorry, I'm just getting my yarn on my darning needle. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go weaving in and out of each stitch. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, like so. Now I'm just going to cinch it closed. Beautiful. Just like so. Now I'm just going to go through like one stitch here and make a knot just so it doesn't come undone. Okay. Now I'm going to make another knot to secure it. Like I said, this part you can do it however you would like. This is just what I do. It's something simple and easy to remember for B. And then you just hide the tail inside. Okay. Now I'm just going to snip this. And there you go. Now your By Pride heart is completed. I hope you did enjoy the tutorial. I hope you understood everything that I was saying. I tried to crochet slower than I normally do. I want to make sure that my tutorials are fully beginner friendly and not going too fast. If you did like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. It is not mandatory, but it will help me grow on YouTube. If you want to see more tutorials or even crochet vlogs, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also find me on other social medias as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!